0-0 at half-time at the Bridge. We're awaiting our first goal. What have you made of it, Glenn?
Well, tactically, it's been a really astute game. I mean, you know, viewers might think it's not that exciting. There hasn't been enough efforts at goal. Both goalkeepers haven't really been worked. But, you know, José, particularly Tottenham, have really gone there and looked at it tactically, how they're going to stop Chelsea and then try and hit Chelsea on the break.
Michael?
Yeah, I think Tottenham, without it possibly showing in the stats, I think Tottenham really are in more control of the game. I think Chelsea is struggling to get their game going. And I think Tottenham, even though it's costing them a man in midfield, let's say, Glenn will go on to the tactical side in a minute, but I do think they're more in control of this game than Chelsea, and I think that Frank Lampard has got more problems in that dressing room to solve for this second half.
Now, Glenn, you noticed very early on a tactical adjustment from José Mourinho today because he's playing Chelsea. Explain away.
It's a big one as well. It's all about Sissoko. You can see him just coming in there. The ball's deep. He'll look and play deep. He'll try and screen the front. But what he'll do, when there's a danger, look, he'll go into a back three. It's almost like he's making a back three. He goes in as right-sided centre-back and ends up in these positions here. So Aurier can always be wide, can always go and push if it's Chilwell or if it was Werner coming out. So look, here again, he's not goal side there, but his job is to screen that situation, and eventually it's his responsibility to be the sort of almost like the right-sided centre-back. So Aurier is always going to be pushing in so they can get pressure on the ball. Again, another example, they change the ball out, he's screening the front man, suddenly Aurier's been told to come out and Sissoko goes back in there. Harry Kane drops in, whoever's on the wide berth, if it's on, in this side comes back into this area. But there it is. Look, there's your back three. Sissoko is the right-sided centre-back, which is not his normal position, but Aurier's playing in front of him. So because Chelsea particularly love getting down this left-hand side. Chilwell's been excellent this season, and he's been dangerous at getting past that 18-yard box. And then they go and counter. It didn't come to anything, but that's what they're looking to do.
That is really interesting. Now, Glenn noticed that early on. As he says, Chelsea have struggled with it. So I just wonder, from an attacking point of view, if you are Abraham or Werner in this game, what are you doing individually, or what perhaps are you saying to your manager to try and combat that? Yeah,
particularly if I was Werner, I'd be really interested in this. I'd be getting my strike partner, in this case, Tammy Abraham, I'd get him to shift. So what's happening, as Sissoko's coming back, he's never getting goal side. Look at this, he's always staying on the wrong side in many ways. So I'd be telling my team to actually chip it over, use my pace, especially like this. Get Abraham, you take as many players away as you can. Get those centre-halves away from me and leave me isolated one-on-one. If you can take him away, go on, get away. Take him over and then chip it over his head. Because, as I say, he's not staying goal side. Even though he's dropping into the right centre-half position, he's not staying goal side. So it's a perfect opportunity for the ball over the top.
Is that something Frank Lampard will be thinking about right now?
I think he'll look at doing that. I think that movement from the striker, as Michael's saying, he's got another option. If he's seen it, if Chilwell comes inside, so he runs inside of Aurier, does Aurier go with him? If he doesn't, he makes a spare man. There's a lot of space in there because Sissoko's going back. Now, if he goes inside and Aurier comes with him, now if Werner or whoever that player is there comes out behind Aurier, you've got a big problem. Sissoko's got a massive problem then. So there's two options there. I think Chilwell normally goes on the outside, round the outside. If he goes inside into that pocket and Aurier comes with him, you've got other options as well.
And when you look at where Aurier has been compared to Sissoko in that first half on average, Michael?
It's startling. And you know, as Glenn's talking there as well, I'm thinking this is why some clubs have their coaches up in the stand. I mean, we've spotted it here, not because we've been watching the camp. We've got a tactical camera, we can see the whole pitch. And Glenn picked it up right away. Now, if Glenn was on the Chelsea staff, watching from the stand, he would have picked that up, and all of a sudden they'd be making a plan in that dressing room to actually combat this and actually turn it the other way around. And as Glenn says, you know, whether it's someone going inside and giving that problem to Sissoko. But I think it's really difficult to spot some of these intricacies when you're on the touchline level.
Michael, you're 100% right. When at club level, it always wasn't able to get up there at international level, but at Wembley I used to do it. I always used to, first half, I'd always sit up the top because of that reason. It is believe me, the dugout is the worst position to watch a game at that level. It's ridiculously hard. And some grounds where the benches go down, like Barcelona, for instance, you can only see feet. So to be up there and see that, exactly, I'm not sure they'll be able to see it from that angle.
That is so insightful.
That's why he was the
Should have managed England, shouldn't he?
Exactly. it was a lesson for me in that first half.
So, as Glenn says, no thrills, no spills, not...
For VAR to tell us with lines, but he's put his flag up straight away. Great call. And I think that's how we've got to go. I think we've got to go back to the on-field decisions. Really, would simplify it a lot more. If someone sees it that tight and he's good enough to see it and it's correct, fantastic. But, you know, I think there's too much going on with VAR at the moment.
What do you want to see now from Chelsea, the home team? A little more onus on them.
Well, following on from the tactical point that Glenn made at half-time, I think when they're using so many players in this right-hand side and Sissoko's dropping out of midfield and coming into that sort of back three, there has to be a spare man somewhere. And we're just talking about someone like Mount or Kovacic or someone on the central stroke on the right, breaking the lines, doing something, because they're going to have space. There's got to be space somewhere. They're nailing down Tottenham. They're nailing down this right-hand side because they see the left side for Chelsea is a big danger. So somewhere on the pitch, there's got to be more space, and I'm going to look for Chelsea trying to exploit that space.
Yeah, as I said, the example of maybe Chilwell going in and a striker coming out would cause Tottenham a hell of a lot of problems. But we're right, Mount is the player that's got to get in that little pocket, because Ndombele as well isn't the greatest defender. So at the end of the day, you're asking Højbjerg to be the only midfield defensive player in there. So there's times where Chelsea have got to pick up that 3v2 in that area. And Kane keeps coming back so deep and trying to do a semi-job of that. But you must take advantage of that. Chelsea have got to look at that and get a 3v2 in midfield as many times as they can.
And the other thing as well, I think, the Glenn's point is happening right under the nose of Frank Lampard. So as much as we spoke about being in the stand is a benefit, you can see it all happening. Surely if he's going to spot it anywhere, the Chelsea staff on the bench there,